Coronation Street fans could barely believe their eyes when a familiar face popped up during the World Athletic Championships earlier today.
As he headed out with a male friend for a run, working up quite the sweat. She's 1/4 of the most successful UK girl band of the moment.
Countdown's Rachel Riley reveals she almost died, age 14, as she sizzles in hot pink frock.
Hello, and welcome to the second episode of Barely Contained, the podcast that sifts through the flotsam and jetsam of celebrity journalism. I'm Chris Beckett, and joining me on this quest is Matt Withers.
Hello.
And Matt, I understand you have an unbelievable story from the Express.
This really is. This is from the Express Online. Headline, World Championships 2017, Coronation Street fans lose it, in capitals, as they spot insane, in capitals, coincidence. I mean, this isn't particularly timely, Chris. People know these championships are over. I might think it's a great story. We might have already tried to record this once and I didn't save it properly. But let's crack on nonetheless.
This is going to be insane.
Coronation Street fans could barely believe their eyes when a familiar face popped up during the World Athletic Championships earlier today. The sporting event, which is taking place in London, gains millions of viewers each day as the best of the best battle it out for coveted medals.
Now, the Express very much there summing up what a World Championship actually is.
Just in case any of their readers are not au fait, very much spelt it out for them there, which is useful. The women's marathon took place earlier today, and before the competitors set off, the BBC showed a list of all the runners.
Job done.
Yeah, where are we going with this though? Eagle-eyed Coronation Street fans spotted that one of Team GB's athletes taking part in the race was coincidentally called Tracy Barlow.
Shit the bed.
Viewers flocked to Twitter with one joking, "I'm strangely amused that there's someone in the marathon called Tracy Barlow."
Yeah, now come on, this sums it up. I'm strangely amused. Yeah, yes, strangely. I mean, this is not an insane coincidence. For me, if you want an insane coincidence in the World Athletics Championship, you get all the runners on the front row and the numbers on their shirts read out, I don't know, the number to live and kicking or something.
What, 081 811 8181?
Yeah.
Yeah, or similarly, a Coronation Street style. Imagine if there was two Jamaican 800-metre runners in the same race next to each other called Percy Sugden and Curly Watts.
Yeah, I mean, that's the sort of thing. That's insane.
Well,
this is not insane.
Look, be that as it may, Coronation Street fans lost it. If you listen to some of the ways, it's very much tipped these people over the edge. Another laughed. Tracy Barlow running for Team GB at #London 2017. Ken and Deirdre will be proud.
Yeah, okay.
A third added, at BBC Sport, Tracy Barlow running in the women's marathon. I didn't see Ken in the men's.
Well, that doesn't work on any level.
No,
Ken's like 85 years old.
Yeah, is he still alive? I don't know.
I think he is. I'm not sure.
A fourth wondered, and I think you can probably see the modus operandi of this online journalist here. Tracy Barlow is in the marathon. Did she do her training down the cobbled streets of Weatherfield? It's unlikely. You know, I'm just throwing that in there. #Corrie, #BBC Athletics, #London 2017.
#no.
This comes after Gabby Logan was... See, now we're getting into the point in which there are about 45 words on what they need to pad this out with. This comes after Gabby Logan was left red-faced when a streaker interrupted proceedings during last night's coverage. The nude man, who was promoting peace and love,
obviously,
made his way out onto the track ahead of Usain Bolt's final solo race, which he lost to Justin Gatlin.
Well, again, what is going on with the news values here? I mean, surely the issue is mainly this duel of these top athletes, you know, one the saviour of sprinting, the other slightly more dodgy character, Justin Gatlin. But no, it's all about the streaker. This is bizarre. And it's not a coincidence. Insane or otherwise.
And indeed Tracy Barlow and Ken.
Exactly. Well, sprinting on, I have a story from the Mirror. Headlines, Brooklyn Beckham flashes his new tattoo and abs, presumably they're not new, as he works up a sweat in LA. He said he's going to go under the radar in a matter of weeks when he moves to New York to start his studies there. But Brooklyn Beckham ensured all eyes were on him in Los Angeles on Saturday as he headed out with a male friend for a run, working up quite the sweat.
Quite the sweat.
I'm not quite sure how he's ensuring all eyes were on him, unless he had some sort of... Maybe he got his male friend to have a sandwich board. Anyway, heading out for the run through the sunny streets of Tinseltown, the 18-year-old son of David and Victoria worked up quite the sweat.
Quite the sweat.
Again, having to pull his T-shirt off at one point. Having just finished his A-levels in the UK, it seems that Brooklyn hasn't been lounging about the house, instead choosing to keep his fitness at peak levels. How long was this bloody run? Having touched down at his family's base in LA earlier this month, Brooklyn hasn't let his jaunt to LA interfere with his fitness regime.
Yeah, I mean, again, I think the same point's been laboured somewhat here, but on we go.
Apparently unafraid to push himself, the team looked to have thoroughly exhausted himself in the early morning heat. Possibly sweating again. Running along in an all-white ensemble, at one point he lifted his tee up over his head to cool down, exposing his muscular torso and his latest inking, a black rose. Keeping things minimal and chic in the athleisure department, Brooklyn teamed a white tee with a pair of Adidas basketball shorts.
Yeah, I mean, this isn't a word, this is the male, this is the mirror actually, isn't it? The going through everything that somebody's wearing, but when it's a pair of shorts and a t-shirt, a little less exciting. Matt, doing a podcast, was wearing a shirt from Debenhams, a pair of jeans from Debenhams, and a pair of all-star trainers.
You are rocking them very well. Athleisure as well. I mean, that is just complete bollocks. And white on white ensemble, basically that's just describing pretty much what I wore for PE lessons at school from about 1987 to 1994.
If you remember to take them.
Well, exactly, otherwise it was skins. He rounded the look off with a pair of grey trainers and white socks, while he also wore a beanie, despite the heat. Possibly that's actually him hiding, so he's not really drawing attention to himself. Oh, Jesus. The rose is just one of a number of inkings Brooklyn has shown off recently, and is the newest alongside his Made in England hat.
Well, quite famously, he wasn't made in England. That's why he's called Brooklyn. That's why he's not called Whips Cross Beckham.
I think I'm going to carry on. One from the Mail Online. Leanne Pinnock steps out for dinner in Los Angeles wearing green Gucci £1,000 leggings. She's 1/4 of the most successful UK girl band of the moment.
What?
Matt, she's 1/4 of the most successful UK girl band of the moment.
She's 1/4. If only there was another way.
What do you want from me? 2/8? She's 2/8. 25%?
Robson is 1 second of the chart toppers Robson and Jerome. Zig is 1 second of the breakfast TV mirth makers Zig and Zaga.
You're just nitpicking. This is outrageous.
Well, you think that the Mail of all papers would know? You know, Brexit's come in now. We can go back to using good old-fashioned British fractions like quarter.
She's 1/4. She's 1/4.
I don't want to hear any more of this.
Oh, all right, fair enough. Well, in that case, then, we better return to what is becoming a good staple of this podcast.
Yep.
Rachel Riley.
The Life of Riley, we like to call it. We'd also like to play The Life of Riley by the Lightning Seed, probably better known as the theme music from Match of the Day's Goal of the Month in the 90s, but unfortunately legalistics mean that we're not able to do so. But just play it in your head.
It's a shame.
Let's start. This is from the Express for people tuning into the podcast for the first time. Papers, online papers, indeed, like the Express, the Star, etc. Somebody who has paid a lot of money to go through the Master's Journalism course at City University is rotated on every day to, don't roll your eyes, to...
What's your problem with City?
or Cardiff, or Lancashire. To write about what Rachel Riley has wore and said each day on that day's countdown. So let's look at the Express. Headline: Countdown's Rachel Riley reveals she almost died, age 14, as she sizzles in hot pink frock.
Well, I mean, I'll be honest, I don't know whether to be concerned or aroused.
You're not on your own, Chris. We'll have a look at the comments later. Rachel Riley sizzled on today's instalment of Countdown as she slipped into a bright pink dress as she opened up about her brush with death.
We're dressing appropriately there.
Host Nick Hewer started the show by speaking about holiday disasters and asked if the presenter experienced any herself. The blonde beauty revealed that she'd almost drowned at the age of 14, explaining, "I was rescued once from the sea by a lifeguard."
I think he was probably meaning, like, we missed a plane, or
Yeah.
like, I got a bit of a dicky tummy. Like, this is,
I tried to take a 250ml jar of Sharwood's tikka masala sauce with me and had to leave it behind at the security.
Riley has taken this quite dark.
She's bringing out the big guns here. "I was taken under and thought that was it. I was calmly like, oh, there's not much I can do about this, and then was dragged out by someone who saved me when I was about 14.
She's pretty fatalistic. I mean, can't we go back to what she's wearing?
Yeah, even at the age of 14, Riley was prepared just to face death. Nick was less stunned by the revelation, while one fan of Rachel's tweeted, "Imagine being the lifeguard who saved Rachel Riley's life as a 14-year-old. We all thank you unreservedly, whoever you are."
And if you are that, lifeguard, then feel free to tweet us. We can maybe get you on for a future Riley Fest.
Yeah, absolutely. You'd be very welcome. Just missed out the end of that quote. #countdown.
Sorry.
Here we go. Back to the meat and drink. Rachel turned up the heat on today's episode of Countdown as she teased viewers with a glimpse of her cleavage in her hot pink frock.
Oh, that's better.
The low-cut neckline allowed her to flaunt her décolletage as she resumed her duties at the letters and numbers
The
board.
blood is starting to flow again.
Drawing even more attention to her chest, and it's getting a bit weird now, the bright style featured pretty lace detailing across the bust. Rachel's sleeveless dress cinched in at the waist, highlighting her svelte figure, while the thigh-grazing skirt showcased her toned pins. Come on! 40 more words and you can knock off for the day.
I mean, isn't she kind of, I'm not quite sure if she's above water or...
She added height to her look and further accentuated her lean legs with a pair of matching pink-heeled sandals. We're really getting into Express Online bingo here, aren't we?
Adding height to your look. I mean, when I was a kid, I remember adding height to my look. I was wearing a pair of probably those like Fisher-Price stilts.
Her blonde locks were styled in a chic down do, while she opted for a dark pink lipstick and heavy eye makeup.
At least it was dark pink. I mean, for goodness sake.
Countdown airs weekdays on Channel 4 at 2:10. Now, I was going to mention, there's a comment here, very first comment left on this story. This was left by Winston Clemmings. He's got his very own take on this. He says, sad story, but this in no way diminishes the raging, and I'm not going to say the next word, but in fine Countdown conundrum style, it is an anagram of that large collider that's on the ground in Switzerland at the moment. I carry on. I have for Rachel Riley right now.
Oh, it's good. It's good to know. Thanks, Winston. And that priapic parting shot from Winston brings us to the end of another episode of Barely Contained. If you like us, please subscribe, or if you want to discuss any of the themes raised in this episode, please tweet us at barely_pod. We've been Chris and Matt. See you next time.
Bye-bye.